is Monday, November 2. Welcome to CGN News. Jamaica's Court of Appeal unanimously dismissed an appeal brought by gay rights advocate Maurice Tomlinson against television stations TVJ and CVM. Tomlinson sued these stations in 2012 because they refused to air a video promoting tolerance towards homosexuals. At the heart of the case was whether a TV station had the right to refuse to air videos they don't want to, or whether they could be forced to air such videos. The case assessed the constitutionally protected rights to freedom of expression and to distribute and disseminate information, ideas, or opinions through any media. Justice Phillips, who wrote the unanimous judgment, held that the stations could not be forced to carry an advertisement they did not wish to air. The court ruled, therefore, that the TV station's refusal to air his video was justifiable. A Trinidadian man who boarded a Caribbean Airlines CAL flight at the JFK International Airport in New York late Saturday died en route to the Piarco International Airport in the island's capital, Port of Spain. The Guardian newspaper reported the elderly man, who was a passenger on a CAL repatriation flight, started having severe medical issues while on board. This resulted in the flight being rerouted to Puerto Rico. The newspaper reported that the elderly man appeared to have died by the time the aircraft landed in Puerto Rico. The executive director of the religious group Family Faith Freedom Barbados, Dr. Veronica Evelyn, has urged Christians in Barbados to stand up for what is right by protesting against the government's proposal to legalize same-sex unions. Evelyn made the call on Saturday as over 200 Christians from different churches participated in the third of 5 organized marches. She said the government is committing Barbados to a non-negotiable global agenda that entails much more than initially bargained for. In September, the Mia Mottley-led administration revealed plans to recognize same-sex civil unions. The move was announced by Governor-General Dame Sandra Mason as she delivered the throne speech. Tropical storm Eta is expected to become a major hurricane by the time it makes landfall Monday night or early Tuesday, dumping several inches of rain and wreaking havoc. Jamaica and southeast Mexico are expected to experience 5 to 10 inches of rainfall from Eta. Meanwhile, El Salvador, southern Haiti, and the Cayman Islands are projected to experience 3 to 5 inches, with isolated amounts of 10 inches. The rainfall expected from Eta could lead to life-threatening flash flooding and river flooding in areas of higher terrain in Central America. These conditions are also possible across Jamaica, southeast Mexico, El Salvador, southern Haiti, and the Cayman Islands. Life-threatening storm surge, damaging winds, and flash flooding are expected across parts of Central America as Eta approaches hurricane strength. U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday launched one final test of whether the large crowds at his rallies will translate into votes as he races through the final 48 hours of the 2020 campaign. A rally north of Detroit kicked off a frenzied blitz of campaigning over the last 2 days before the election, with 9 more rallies to go. Down in the polls and at a cash disadvantage to Democrat Joe Biden, Trump is using large gatherings to help keep his message in front of voters. It's unclear whether the rallies will broaden his appeal beyond those people already likely to vote for him, and the packed, often unmasked crowds risk deepening the pandemic at a time when coronavirus cases are rising. But Trump sees his showmanship as a central element of his outsider appeal that he hopes will resonate once more. A long-awaited court case gets underway this week in the Canadian province of Quebec, where civil rights groups say a law that prohibits the wearing of religious garb by some public servants violates the country's constitution. The lawsuit against Bill 21 was filed by 2 advocate groups and a Muslim woman. It will be heard in Quebec's Superior Court today, November 2. The law, passed in June 2019, bars some teachers, lawyers, police officers, and others in the public sphere from wearing religious symbols on the job, including the hijab worn by Muslim women, kippas worn by Jewish men, and turbans worn by Sikhs. The applicants say the law is discriminatory and creates second-class citizenship in Canada. As mass anti-government protests build across Thailand, with calls for reform of the monarchy, The king has called his country the land of compromise. The monarch made his first public comments on the pro-democracy demonstrations in a rare interview with CNN and Channel 4 News during a function at the Grand Palace in Bangkok on Sunday. Asked whether there was any room for compromise with the demonstrators, Viharlongkorn said that Thailand is the land of compromise. This is the first time that the 68-year-old monarch has spoken to foreign media since 1979 when he was crowned prince. New Zealand appointed its first Indigenous female foreign minister Monday to represent what's shaping up to be one of the most diverse parliaments in the world. Nanaia Mahuta, who is Maori, 4 years ago also became the country's first female member of parliament to wear a mokokawai, a traditional tattoo on her chin. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern's Labour Party was re-elected in a landslide last month. Ardern's incoming parliament looks set to be one of the most diverse in the world. Almost half of the country's lawmakers will be women. Around 10% of the incoming parliament are openly LGBTQ, with the new Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson being gay. The boss of Australia Post has resigned after authorizing a $20,000 Australian dollar or $14,000 gift of luxury watches to 4 employees as a work reward. Christine Holgate, chief executive of the National Postal Service since 2017, had been criticized for what is seen as a waste of public funds. The gifts of Cartier watches in 2018 were revealed by a Parliament inquiry last month, prompting an investigation. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said he was appalled by the spending. Holgate, however, has consistently defended the gifts as a reward for performance. She said the work of those employees had secured a $220 million Australian dollar investment for Australia Post. Australia Post is run by an independent board but is owned by the Australian government on behalf of taxpayers. Sindika Dokolo, a Congolese businessman and owner of one of the world's most important African art collections, has died aged 48. A tweet posted to his verified Twitter account said he died on October 29 in Dubai. In the art world, Dokolo was renowned for helping African artists show their work at major Western venues and events. He was also vocal in calling for European museums to return artworks and other items looted during the colonial era. As news of Dokolo's death broke, several high-profile Congolese figures took to social media to pay tribute. Singer and rapper Keisha tweeted that he had just lost a brother. John Kanyoni, an important figure in the country's mining industry, described Dokolo as brilliant and called his death a big loss for the Democratic Republic. Dokolo was married to Isabel dos Santos, the daughter of Angola's former president and Africa's richest woman with an estimated net worth of $2.2 billion, according to Forbes. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.